Hello, welcome. So you finally decided to do your masters, you're ready to go, you're probably just procrastinating and you're wondering, how do I do this application process and what do you need to know? Well, I've got all the answers you need today, so keep watching. Firstly, I applied for 3 universities to do my masters, the same masters, MA, Integrative Counselling and Psychotherapy. So I started my applications in November and I applied for all of them November 2020. The University of Derby, University of Leeds and the University of Roehampton. So this is how it went. Each application probably took me about a day to 1 week to do, simply because of the personal statement. I was able to submit my application for the University of Derby on the 9th of November and the University of Leeds I also applied for on the 9th of November, and the University of Roehampton I managed to submit my application on the 13th of November. So the application process is actually quite simple. The only daunting part is the personal statement. And to be honest with you, I used the same one for all 3 universities. I just switched them up a little, used the name of the university. So you're probably wondering, what was the actual application process like? What did you have to fill in? What details did you have to give? To be quite honest with you, it was very simple. It was just a lot of admin information about you. They asked for your CV, they asked for your employment history, your educational history, any qualifications and certificates that you might have to show them that you're suitable for the course, and you actually needed to have proof of those qualifications. So your graduation certificate, get a picture of it, or any statements to show that you have a certain qualification. So I had my university certificate, I had my level 3 diploma certificate, and I took pictures of them and I uploaded them onto the system. And also for this one they asked for a lot of clinical experience, so I had to write a personal statement about my clinical experience, what I learned from it and how that's going to help me on the course, and also showing what you can bring to the course and why you're going to be a valuable asset to the university, because obviously the more graduates they have, the better they look, right? So you need to show them that I will graduate and I will be suitable for this course, and you're not wasting your time by accepting me onto your course. They also ask for your DBS, so if you don't have your DBS ready, apply for one and have it ready. In order to be better prepared, I would suggest having a folder on your laptop or whatever device that you use and having all your important documents in one folder, which is what I have: my DBS, bank statements, address history, any qualifications, ID pictures, driver's license, passport picture. I have it all in one folder so that I can use them whenever they're needed, and I don't have to look around my house or look in folders and wonder, where the hell did I leave it? My personal statement, like I said, took me a few days to write. So once I did that, I submitted everything in November. I heard back pretty quickly. So the first university that I heard back from was actually the University of Leeds on December 18th, which was almost a month after I applied. The University of Derby got back to me on the 20th of December. Unfortunately, I heard back from the University of Roehampton all the way on the 11th of March. It was such a long wait. I had to email them in January and say like, hello, I'm still here, and they were like, oh sorry, we're overwhelmed, blah blah blah. I said, well, do you want me or not? So they got back to me at those times. So I passed and I got to the interview stage for all 3 universities, and with the emails that they got back to me with, they specified the time and the day for the interview, and I just had to confirm if I still wanted to go ahead with my application. Of course I said yes. My top choice at this point was the University of Roehampton. So some of the universities had a bit of a request before the interview, which was a bit much, but you know, you do what you have to do. So the University of Leeds emailed me about 2 weeks before the interview saying, okay, this is what we need you to do before the interview. They gave me a case study which was quite short, about half of an A4 paper, and then they had 4 questions which they wanted me to fill in and answer with a limit of 500 words for all the 4 questions in total. So that one was a bit tricky, but it was quite enjoyable. They had me fill in a criminal record declaration form to obviously say that I don't have anything on my criminal record. And then they asked me to fill in a timetable planner just to kind of see how I would schedule my time at uni. So those were the 3 things that they asked me to do before the interview. So the University of Roehampton asked me to do a 500-word reflective essay before the interview. For both universities, they did not give me feedback on those things. I don't know exactly what they did with those things, but they did not get back to me on those things. They just took it and that was it. Luckily, the University of Derby didn't ask for anything. They just asked me to turn up to the interview and confirm that I would be there, which I was. I know I didn't mention this, but all of the interviews were online. Of course, at the time it was the height of the pandemic, so all of the interviews were done online. The first interview that I had was with the University of Leeds, which was on Monday the 22nd of February from 9:30 till 3 a.m. Yes, 6 hours. You heard me correct. It was a very long interview. We had a few breaks in between. It was just absolutely unnecessary, but I got through it anyway, even though I was really tired. In all the little breaks we had, I took a nap on my sofa. It was the longest interview I've ever had, and I hope they're not still doing that today. University of Leeds, if you're watching, scrap that. The second interview I had was with the University of Roehampton on the 6th of March, which was from 12 p.m. to 1:15 p.m. and that was also a group interview, just like the previous one. The last interview I had was with the University of Derby on the 6th of May. That was only 30 minutes, 10:15 a.m. to 10:45, and it was very short, very brief. They asked me a few questions about why I wanted to study there, why I want to be a counsellor, and then they asked me to do a role play in the role of a counsellor and then being the client. And there was 2 of them on the Skype call, and it was very quick, very simple, but I really wasn't prepared for that one. So that was that in terms of the interviews. So from applying in November to then having the interviews, it was about 4 to 8 months. So expect a similar waiting time now that you're applying for your process as well. So after the interviews, my responses came shortly after. Leeds University got back to me a few days later on the 25th of February. So the interview was on the 22nd, and then they got back to me 3 days later and they rejected me. Yay! They weren't my first choice anyway, so I wasn't too hurt, but I was still disappointed because I was like, what if the other 2 don't accept me? What am I gonna do? Da 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 da. Yeah, anyways, the University of Derby got back to me on the 7th of May, which was the day after the interview. They put me on a waiting list, and then later on they actually wanted me to take a place, but I rejected them because I'd already accepted the University of Roehampton. The University of Roehampton got back to me about a month later on the 20th of April, and they accepted me and they loved me and I loved them. So yeah, by the time that the University of Derby said, oh, we took you off the waiting list and we want you, it was already really late. I think it was like August at the time, and I'd already started my enrollment process with the University of Roehampton. So yeah, that was not an option for me anymore. So all that to say, your process hopefully should only really be from November up until May. By May you should 100% already know, probably before that you'll already know where you're going to be studying. So as you can see, the timeline is very varied depending on the university and depending on how many applicants they have. But I have to say, the interviews for me were the weirdest thing that I definitely could not have prepared for, and I didn't know how to prepare for them. They didn't really give out a lot of information about what they expected. So I'm just going to share with you guys what the interview process was like and what each interview entailed, and you can watch it right here in the next video as I explain the weird, wonderful and wacky experiences I had, because I cannot lie to you, the interviews were so crazy and they were just so weird. Nothing like any other interview I've ever had before, that's for sure. Until the next video, have a good day or a good night wherever you are. Bye!